Hello and welcome to our next update on Viking shields. We have quite a few shields here at all different stages of creation, and it's been going really well. These guys right here are drying right now. We've put boiled linseed oil on them after the raw hide. You can tell it looks a little yellowy here. That's what it's supposed to look like. Since we're using dog bones, they are bright white, and I just feel like the boiled linseed, not only does it protect it from the elements and from the weather, gives it a little bit more stability. It also yellows it, so I feel like it doesn't look like actual dog bones on your shield. So this is looking pretty good. These guys are drying right now, and they're completely done, all riveted. There's the linseed oil right there. These guys are also done. So we're working pretty hard on all these. The video today, sorry if I'm moving around too much. The video today is specifically just on rivets though. So I wanted to show these two steps. There's two different stages of riveting that I have set up here that we're going to be doing in this video. The first one is going to be putting on the shield boss and riveting that. And we'll just be doing the boss for this shield. And then this shield, the boss is already done. You can see a little cat print. The boss is already done here, so that'll be the end result on this one. But then I'll show you how to attach the handle. So we already have a handle completely done. I'll talk about how we shape that. You can kind of see the really nice grip right there. Once it's up against the shield, that's gonna fit really good in your hand. And yeah. All right, so this first step that we're going to talk about is putting the boss on the shield. We've already drilled the holes. I talked about that a little bit last time. You want to put the boss however you want it to sit on the shield, and after you put that first hole in the boss, take a rivet and just place that rivet right in the hole, just like that, and now it's not moving. And if you want to do it almost like a hubcap and just do the opposite side, put a rivet in there after you drill the hole, and then just kind of move around, it works perfect. And then you don't have to worry about the boss moving at all. That's happened quite a bit. It makes it a whole lot easier. After you're done doing that, what you're going to want to do is put the rivets in through the back. Now, you can do it the other way. It's totally up to you. I like actually having the hammered rivet on the outside because it looks more historically accurate. You don't want these perfectly polished, these perfectly polished heads on the outside of your shield. They definitely look manufactured. So I always do it on the back. You want to have some type of washer. We have made our own washers before, but it's time consuming, and we're trying to crank out quite a few shields here at once. So this makes it a little bit easier if you just use store-bought washers. Now, after all the gluing and all the painting and the drilling of the holes, you might have some of this puckering of the canvas. You might need to go in very, very carefully with a box cutter or X-Acto knife, or even just a pocket knife, and just kind of peel away some of that canvas, just because if it sticks out too much and it's hard because it's been painted, you want to make sure that the rivet will sit flat. So I'm going to attach this here, and then we'll move on to the next step. All right, so here we have the setup where I'm going to do the riveting. I have an anvil. If you have a workbench, obviously that's going to make it way easier. I'm just doing it on my concrete driveway. So what I've done is I actually put a piece of wood under the anvil just so it doesn't scratch up the concrete too bad, but it's still nice and sturdy. And it's also easier for me if I'm doing this by myself, rather than putting this on a table and trying to hold the giant shield while I'm hammering. It's a whole lot easier to sit with the anvil in between my legs, and then that way I can set the shield on my knees and kind of balance it on my knees, hold it down, hold it in place, and it won't go anywhere. So I just kind of set the shield just like this. All the rivets are in there. It might be kind of hard to see how much the rivet is actually poking out, but I mean, I'm talking maybe like a centimeter. It's not sticking out very much at all. That's what you want. You don't want a whole lot of extra metal sticking out. If you do, it's okay. It just means you're going to have to hammer that much more. So make sure the head of the rivet is resting, obviously, on the anvil. And like I said, this makes it super easy to steady because now I have it resting on my knees on both sides. I can kind of hold it down, maneuver or shift my knees however I need to, and I have everything pretty steady. So for actually riveting, there's lots of different videos out there I'm sure you could watch talking about riveting, people who have way more experience than I do. This is just what works for me. I have a pretty basic ball peen hammer. I think it's a 2-pound ball peen hammer. You're going to want to use the round peening side, obviously. And when you hit the actual rivet, there's it'll take a while to kind of get used to, but it's more of a dragging motion than it is like an actual pounding motion. When you hit it, and this is going to be kind of loud in the video, you want to hit on the edge, obviously, of the round part of this rivet. Kind of hard to describe. Words are difficult, but basically hitting on the edge, if you can see this here, hitting on the edge and kind of pulling it away from the center. So you're going to try to make it mushroom around the metal that's already there. And like I said, I hope you can see this okay. I'll watch the video obviously after I'm done, but I'm just going to go ahead and rivet this rivet right here and show you guys how it works, show you how long it takes. It does take quite a bit, so hopefully this won't be too loud, and I'll maybe adjust all of the volume when I edit. But if you can see this, as I hit, I drag away from the center in every direction. You want to kind of, I'm doing it kind of sloppily here to over exaggerate the motions, but you're hitting it and pulling away, and what that does is it moves the metal over the boss to create a lip. And so just the few little hits I've already done, it's already mushroomed enough that boss is not going to lift up. So super easy to do. I'll hammer a few more times. You just make a circular motion around the rivet and you're pulling away from the center every hit. And you don't need super big, powerful strikes. It's better to do it small and a little bit at a time. But this rivet is already done. And so I'll hold that up. There we go. That's already done. Now after doing all of the other rivets, I might go back and hammer just a little bit more, because you can see the boss is kind of lifted up on the opposite side. So that's what I'll do next, is I'll actually lay the shield with the rivet on the anvil on the opposite side, and then I'll rivet this one, and that'll kind of push the boss down, hold it in place, and it'll be very easy to do all the rest of the rivets. But I'm going to go ahead and rivet all the rest of these, and then I'll show you how to rivet the handles. so that's it. All done. And all the rivets are riveted. You want to kind of feel them with your finger, make sure there's no sharp pieces sticking out or little snags. If you can kind of fit your fingernail under there, you might want to hit it a few more times to lay it down flat so it doesn't snag on anything. But that's it, and for the most part there's not a whole lot of hammer marks around the perimeter of the rivet, but it looks pretty good. If you wanted to, you could always buff that out, but we're just going to leave it because these are going to get beat up anyway. So now that's done, you can see all the washers around all of the rivets here. If you really wanted to, you could just hit these with the hammer a couple times just to kind of make them textured so they don't look so manufactured. I'm just going to leave it. We can always do that later if we wanted to. Now for the handle, I'm going to do a different shield. This one has already been marked with pencil. You probably can't see that, but there is a pencil line going up and down here. We'll measure where we're going to drill the holes in the handle, and then we'll use a nail to mark that through the hole into the actual shield and drill the holes, and do the same exact thing we did here, but instead of with the metal on the boss, we're going to use washers on the front of the shield and washers on the wood of the handle. So we do have a lot longer rivets. These rivets right here for the boss itself, they're 1/4 inch thick and I think 3/4 of an inch long. And depending on the thickness of your shield and the thickness of the boss, the holes in the boss, all of that kind of determines what size you should get. But this size is pretty standard for the bosses that we've gotten before. So yeah, that's it. Super easy. I didn't think it was going to take that short a time, but we're already done. Look at that.